Welcome to another episode of UCF Uncut. We have a quick update. We are going to review the UCF versus Texas Tech game Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox. That is going to be 11:15. That's the date. Quickly, ESPN has UCF having an 8% chance to win. So you're saying there's a chance. So Texas Tech has a 92% chance to win the game. We're going to get into the game preview prediction, kind of go through the whole, breakdown of Texas Tech and also UCF, the program, and where we're at right now as a program. But first, as always, we got to bring out the UCF brew of the night. And we have a interesting brew, and this is actually a beer. It is an apple cider donut. It's called Apple Cider Donuts by Edmunds Oast. They're out of South Carolina, Charleston. This is a 5%. So it's kind of that time of year. We'll go ahead and open this up and pour a proper pint. This is actually a 1-pint can, so nice size can. I need something a little stronger after watching UCF the past 2 weeks. There was the Baylor game, which, 2 clear push-offs to start the game, and that's a 14-point swing. So, can't say it again. The Big 12 refs are the worst officiating crew in all of Power 3 football, because the ACC doesn't count. I don't even think they're a power conference anymore. All right, we're going to put this can here so you can check it out. Edmunds Oast, let's give it a ranking. Just poured it to the brim. Wow. All right, here we go. Wow, I don't know. It's pretty good. Definitely. Wow, got me there. This is like a holiday drink. It says vanilla and natural flavors added. They're, Edmunds Oast out of South Carolina. They make a lot of sours. They're known for making kind of some strange beers. 5%er. It's actually really good. It's kind of settled. It's not bad at all. I like it a lot. Out of 10, I'm going to give it a rating. I'm going to go ahead and give it let's go with an 8.74 out of 10. 8.74 out of 10. You can get this at Total Wine and probably a lot of other places. Okay, let's get into this UCF versus Texas Tech preview. UCF is 4-5 on the season. They're 1-5 in the Big 12. They're playing the number 8 team in the nation, in Texas Tech, who's 9-1 and 6-1. I'm sorry, they're 8-1 and they're 6-1 in the Big 12. Now, the thing is with this game is that, I listened to Scott Frost kind of give an update on the state of the program. A lot of injuries, kind of we're trending in the right direction. He says kind of all the same things he's been saying, low expectations. This is kind of a rebuild. We're heading in the right direction. We have a good core group of guys, blah, blah, blah. And he's right. He probably is right. It's just frustrating because we basically, we could be, we could have 6 wins on the season easily. We could be bowl eligible. We gave a couple games away that are absolute just killers. And it's hard to see, especially out of the Gus Malzahn era, when we lost so many games just because of the coaching. And the same thing happened here with Frost. You watched the Houston game, the space game. That was an absolute heartbreaker. If Taven Jackson is injured, okay, with a hamstring, we should have benched him early in the game, not on the last play. Clearly, he was ineffective. Putting Davian was interesting on the last drive. Some would say questionable at best. I was one of them. And then, honestly, really, they had a false start that set him back, and he made 2 scramble plays to make up all those yards to keep us alive. So he did show that he can, move the ball with his feet. I guess because there's no other quarterbacks on the roster. Ja'Cory Brown's an emergency quarterback, so he must be really hurt. So for, Davi makes a terrible decision throwing the ball. Scott Frost says he doesn't play for overtime. He wants to win the game, and I get that. Didn't want to burn a timeout, wanted to take a shot, but take a shot on a fade. Throw the ball where UCF can only get it, especially with Davi throwing it, because he telegraphed the whole thing, and it was underthrown. It was picked. It was a disaster. And that's coaching. Run the ball, kick the field goal. Let's let Davi get his feet wet. What are we doing here? So not a huge fan of the way that game ended. And here we go. We're heading into Texas Tech. Can Texas Tech be beat is the question. The only time they lost this season was against Arizona State, and Sam Leavitt was leading the troops, and we know what he can do on offense. The thing is that game, Texas Tech starting quarterback was injured and didn't play. It was their backup who played for Texas Tech, and they still almost beat Arizona State. They barely lost that game. So it's going to be tough. Their starting quarterback is Behren Morton. Strange first name, tough to say. Maybe someone could comment on what exactly that name, how you pronounce it. But Morton, like Morton Steakhouse or something, I guess is the last name. So either way, he didn't play in that game against ASU. And at the end of the day, ASU passed for 319 yards on Texas Tech for the upset. And, the thing is Texas Tech backup turned over, had a couple picks, I believe 1 or 2 picks that game, and allowed ASU to win that one. I don't think there's a quarterback on the UCF roster that could throw for 319 yards on this Texas Tech team. And that's not accounting for the fact that this Morton Steakhouse quarterback is going to be playing, and he's been on fire. So, we saw what Baylor did to our defense. At the time, we were the number 1 pass defense in the conference. They were the number 1 pass offense in Baylor, and they shredded our defense, even with those PIs that really changed the game early. Really, really was frustrating to watch that. Their tight end pushed off twice. One was a touchdown, one led to a touchdown. So Texas Tech is number 1 in the Big 12. They have UCF and then West Virginia left on the schedule. So they're basically walking into the college football playoff at 11-1, and they're a shoo-in. Now, okay, is it a trap game? Or maybe not the right word, a trap game, but they're not really focused on UCF, and they're not really focused on West Virginia. They're focused on going to the college football playoff. They invested all this money, $7 million on their D-line, tons of money, big oil money on this roster, and this is what it gets you in today's college football, especially in the Big 12. It's pretty brilliant of the boosters from Texas Tech, because you got the Power 3, right? You got the SEC, the Big 10, and you got the Big 12. If you are in the Big 12, which is kind of like the bottom feeder out of those 3, maybe Big 10, Big 12 kind of close. I like the Big 12 as a more holistic conference than mostly any conference. It's probably except the SEC, but from top to bottom with parity in the league, like pretty good across the board. But overall, you're looking at this and you're thinking, man, Texas Tech really has the blueprint for what you need to do, and they could seriously make a run to win this whole thing this year. And I hope they do for the Big 12. Now, how do they stack up nationally, this Texas Tech team? They're 4th in the nation in points for. They score 42.1 points a game. 42.1 a game. They're 3rd in defense, points against. They're only allowing 12.6 points a game. That's it. It's going to be tough sledding against this defense. They have the 18th best passing yards per game. They're passing at 286 yards a game. And they have the 27th best rushing attack at 193. So really, they're putting up over 400 yards a game consistently. They're scoring 42 points a game, and they're only allowing 12. So you do the math. They're blowing people out, and it's not close. Now we got a UCF hobbled team going in to Lubbock, Texas, with nothing to lose. So there's that. I mean, except bowl eligibility, we'd have to win. We'd have to win 2 out of the next 3. And we got Texas Tech, BYU. We have Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, BYU. Those are the 3 teams left. It's possible, but not against this Texas Tech team. And I'll tell you why. But anything's possible. I could win the lotto tonight. Is it tonight? Tomorrow? It's like some record amount. But, yeah, I'm not playing, so I probably should get a ticket. It's too late, probably, but whatever. Interesting little tidbit I saw about Texas Tech on ESPN today. They're basically saying Texas Tech so far has played a pretty weak schedule, only featuring 2 SP plus top 40 opponents on their schedule. Maybe that's why their .4 is so good. Maybe that's why their defense is looking so good. On the other hand, Saturday's win over BYU was pretty convincing. The Red Raiders have beaten the last 2 opponents by 63-17. The legacy of the Patrick Mahomes air raid is still just merely good, not great. Morton A. Steakhouse is injury prone, and he's only 45th in total QBR in the nation. So see, the defense pairs well with him, plus their running game. This Morton character, he is not Mahomes. He is not that baller. He's good, but he's not great. And I think that's what ESPN is basically saying. And, the Red Raiders have scored 34 points or more in 8 games. They're 53rd in the nation in 3 and outs. And they're showing weaknesses against good defenses. So if UCF's defense can play the best possible game and we could slow them down, they're pretty even across the board. They're better at passing than they are running. But the problem is that UCF's defense can't stop the run. So we would have to have literally like the best game possible to even keep it close. Yeah. Now, their offense is pretty efficient on 3rd and 4th down. They're 48% conversion on 3rd down and 46% conversion on 4th down. So basically they're getting it about 1 out of 2 chances. That's pretty good. Anything over 50 is good. UCF is in the dumpsters. We're probably on 3rd down and 4th down conversion rates lower than 30%. So that's a big difference. But yeah, they're scoring 479 yards a game. That's how much yards a game Texas Tech is putting up on offense. That's almost 500 yards a game. Not good. Now, the defense. This is the strength of Texas Tech. They are the best in the Big 12, and they're right around top 4 in the nation. Great defense, good D-line. Lee Hunter, former UCF lineman. Paul Rubelt was being interviewed and asked about, preparing, and he's like, hey, it's another game. We got to put, Houston behind and keep moving forward. And he's right. I mean, it's a positive mindset. But I'm getting a little fed up with this UCF team, and I'm not liking the product I'm seeing. And it's little mistakes that could be corrected, and we could have won a few more games this season. It's frustrating to watch. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. A lot of guys on this team didn't show up all season as far as what we thought they could do. And this may be one of the worst offenses of UCF football that I could remember. And we had a team that didn't win a game. I mean, no, they're not that bad, but they're close. They're really bad. And I'll tell you who, and I'll go into that. 'Cause, this is UCF Uncut. We're not holding anything back. I'm not a credentialed media member to UCF. I'm going to hold UCF accountable. I'm going to hold the coaching staff accountable, the players accountable. I'm not a big donor. I'm not a big booster. I mean, I do contribute, season ticket holder since I don't even know when. You could see the room behind me. Like, I'm a big fan of UCF, big supporter, always have been. But at the same time, what's going on at UCF is unacceptable. and the program, we get to the big stage and we're a joke. We're a joke lately, and it's sad. And it's frustrating to see because this isn't the UCF that I grew up knowing, remembering, and we need to be better. So back to it. Special teams wise, they're average, which is good. Their kicker's not automatic. He's 22 for 25 on the year. So probably a little bit worse than UCF's kicker, no Rulas. So, he's been a bright spot. Their punter is just as bad as UCF's. He's a little better than UCF's. He's averaging 40 yards a punt. Our punter's so bad, like I said, we could find a better punter as a local, at the local kickball field. I just think our punter is so bad, and he's killing us. We got to try someone else back there at punting. He's killing us. Okay, they control time of possession pretty good. They're averaging 29 minutes a game in time of possession. So how do we beat them? We're going to get into UCF's keys to victory, but we would have to control the time of possession to keep this thing close. That's our best bet. How do we do that? I just don't see a path forward. I don't. Trying to be positive. We can't move the ball. We can't throw the ball. We have a weak O-line that's soft. They talk all this about mauling people and blocking hard, and then, they come out there and they get moved around like they're like in the American Conference, the American Athletic, where little bro USF plays, and it looks like an FCS program conference. It's not the same conference that we dominated, so I can tell you that. But this O-line is looking brutal, and they've been brutal. There's no doubt about it. Okay. They do turn over the ball. Texas Tech does turn over the ball. They have a whopping 12 fumbles on the year. But guess what? It doesn't matter because they're so good on both sides of the ball. Even though they've been turning the ball over, they're still smoking people by large margins. They do get penalties. They average 57 penalties a game on average, 57 penalty yards a game on average. And that's not good. That might cost them in the college football playoff because that's a lot of penalties. They have to lock in on that. I don't see them beating Alabama, allowing giving 60 yards in penalties because that's not going to get it done. Yeah, real quick. We, the loss to Houston, right? I threw out a couple tweets for polls, and we're going to do more of these polls. I like hearing, more of the average UCF fan's opinion on what they think, and it was raw. So I said, hey, let's go ahead and grade the offense. What do you guys think? We had 44 votes, and 68% of the voters on X said UCF's offense got an F grade. And I agree. Their offense gets an F grade. Taven Jackson might be worse than KJ Jefferson for UCF in his tenure. He's like a Brandon Wimbush. You know who he reminds me of? Joey Gatewood. Do you remember Joey Gatewood? We transferred in from Kentucky, and then we moved him to like tight end or receiver because he was so bad. Taven Jackson has accuracy problems, and it's obvious. No wonder Cam Fancher got the start, and that should have been an eye-opening experience earlier in the season because, I don't know. We just missed on Jackson. He's just not looking good. Now, defense, we put a grade out there. The average fan, right, 30 votes. 43% gave the defense an A, 37 a B. The defense was great, but let's be honest. Phil Dunham was great. Phil Dunham gets an A in my opinion. But we still allowed them to score, over 20. Couldn't really stop them on the last drive when we needed to, and gave them the lead in the fourth quarter at home in the Space game. So you can't get an A grade for that. But they did fight hard, and they are the bright spot of this team, and Alex Grinch is doing a great job. I hope he doesn't get poached and leave because he's getting no help on offense from Scott Frost and co. and Scott Cooper or whoever the offensive coordinator is on paper. I guess they'll fire him, so Frost, has that, little buffer. But we all know who's really coaching that offense. Head coach grade. Here we go. 21 votes. The leading grade was a D grade for Scott Frost. Yeah, questionable coaching decisions, constantly making just ridiculous decisions. Yeah, I don't know. Don't like it. I think a lot of us on the couch could have called a better series of plays to end the game with Davy Balford in the game. I mean, shoot, at that point, we might as well just ran the ball, kicked the field goal. Like I said, get his feet wet. Or you want to take a shot and you don't want to use timeouts, which is wild, throw a fade where nobody can touch the ball except UCF's receiver. But, little Davy back there, I don't know if he has an arm like that. Got picked. It was just a disaster. So anyway, those are some grades. We'll get some more going. I like doing that. It's pretty cool. Yeah, and I threw out a tweet that, a lot of people really got involved with. It's pretty cool to see. Not viral, but close, I'd say, for what it is. I said that, if JRP was the quarterback of this UCF team, they would most likely be undefeated at this point in the season. And I stand by that. I think JRP was one of the better quarterbacks that UCF's seen ever. And people really, gave him a hard time, but he was in Gus Malzahn's offense, and it suited him well, but he would have done really well with this squad. Because you imagine JRP, he would have led the troops for a touchdown easily to seal that game against Houston. Davy almost did, and he threw a duck pass that got picked for us to lose. But no, I mean, overall, JRP. So I said, yeah, JRP would be, undefeated probably at this point in the season. A lot of people agree. A few haters come out of the woodworks. A lot of people just don't like him. It is what it is. But I say it as I see it. So this UCF team so far this season, they've been very disappointing. They have been competitive in every single game except Baylor. But again, that Baylor game could have went either way early. 14 points to Baylor right off the top. 2 PIs not called. That'll ruin you on the road. Then everything unraveled. I think Jackson, yeah, he has worse issues with accuracy than Ja'Cory Brown, and that's saying something. The bowl chances yet evaporated. Unless there's a miracle, we're not going to go bowling. And actually, you know what I think? Bowling anyway these days is not really relevant in college football. Most players are sitting out unless they're trying to get tape to go to the league or tape to go somewhere else. So yeah, bowl games are kind of, at this point, it's like a I don't know, what do you call it? Like a participation award, like a participation trophy. Yeah, so bowl games or whatever. Yeah, we'd like to go to a bowl game. They used to mean more than what they mean now. So, yeah, our offense and receivers and O-line have been absolutely terrible. I think our O-line, I don't know what's worse, our O-line or our receivers. I think our receivers are so bad, the ones that have been playing. I can't wait to see Day play. Our tight ends have been good-ish. A lot of injuries. But, yeah, DJ Black, he is not Perriman. I don't know if our Sean Beckton receiver coach is losing it, but he compared him to Perriman to start the year. That's a high expectation. He hasn't even been close. He couldn't even tie Perriman's shoes. He's not even on the same level. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Everyone's kind of been hurt, but yeah, Wade Charles, he's young. He's got a lot of upside. He's getting thrown in there. But, we really have no receivers out there right now that have contributed. We can't rely on anybody. We don't have a deep threat. Like Baylor had that tight end, Trigg. Who are we throwing to when we get to the goal line? We have nobody. And that's a problem. Yeah. And, we need to hit the recruiting trail hard. I think Frost is going to turn this around, and we do, need to have a little patience. But, my expectations were much higher, and so far this season, it's been brutal. It's been brutal. Okay, the keys to UCF's victory at Texas Tech. Yeah, well, I can give you a lot of keys to victory in a lot of things, but it's not going to happen. But let's see what I got. Okay, what does UCF need to do to pull off the upset in Lubbock? They need to create turnovers. Obviously, Snape voice. Obviously. That was bad. All right, hope Texas Tech commits penalties. They do commit penalties. If we can get them above that average of 60 penalties and we can keep it close, that will help a ton. I hope that Texas Tech overlooks UCF. It's possible. We need to run the ball and win the time of possession. problem is their D line is a scary sight, and I don't think we're going to run for over 60 yards. I really don't. Yeah. Whoever's starting at quarterback for UCF is going to have a long day at 3:30 p.m. Okay, what can we do? We can slow down the pass game, which, will force them to run the ball and hopefully keep the game slower, less explosive plays, which I think we'll do. We will do that. Grinch likes to do that, less explosive plays, and forcing them to rely on special teams. They have a bad kicker and a bad punter. So that would be good. We need to limit penalties on UCF side to be perfect. Basically, we need to play a perfect game. We haven't played a perfect game all season. The closest to a perfect game we did have was against UNC, and that team is horrible. This team is the opposite. This is a great football team that we're about to play. We're going to have 0 turnovers. Can't turn over the ball if we have any chance of keeping this close. We're going to have to convert on third down somehow. And I don't believe we can. I don't think we can get any positive yards on first and second down. We're always going to be behind the sticks, and we're probably going to turn the ball over quite a lot. I hope I'm wrong. Or we're just going to have quick possessions, and then we're punting and put our defense back out there like we always do. So not too good of a chance there. And our special teams will need to be perfect. We're going to need big explosive returns. We're going to need blocked field goal attempts. We're going to need 50-plus yard field goals. We're going to need everything to go our way. Even a ref's call once in a while in this terrible Big 12 officiating league. The only way to even have a chance is to move the ball through the air against Texas Tech. And that's what ASU did with Sam Leavitt. Who on our roster can throw the ball like Sam Leavitt? I'll wait. Kane Archer. And he is in high school. And we're not going to see him until next year. So, yeah, no one's going to throw the ball even close. And they're 5th in the Big 12 against the pass. That's our only hope, is to throw it up, and we got to win one-on-one battles, like Scott Frost said. Problem is, we don't have any dogs on offense that can win one-on-one battles, even if they wanted to. And even if they wanted to, our quarterback can't find them with the ball when they're open in that small window that they are open. Probably underthrow it, and it'll probably get picked off or swatted away. So to DJ Black's defense, he has been open, and he was open in that Houston game, but we don't have a quarterback that can throw the ball, so it was underthrown. What else? Texas Tech is number 1 against the run. They're only allowing 73 yards a game. Okay, there it is. Number 1 in the Big 12, only allowing 73 yards a game. We're in trouble. We're in big trouble. We're ranked 10th in the Big 12 out of 16 teams against the run as a defense. So we're getting much worse now. Now the true colors are coming out. Can't stop the run. What else is new? Texas Tech is 4th in the Big 12 in rushing yards a game. So we got the 4th best rushing yard team going against the 10th, basically the 10th bottom of the barrel Big 12 against the run. So they're going to run all over us. The only hope is we can keep it, make tackles, stay in the lanes, keep it close. But another thing I noticed about this UCF team, they are so afraid to put hats on the ball. One player will wrap up and try to slow down the back, and then you'll see a surge of offensive linemen who, I don't blame them, go up and push the pile 4 or 5 more yards. And you see someone from UCF pull up and light up. Like, oh, he's got him. He's tackling him. No. Pull a tape of any good defense from UCF's history, or look at the SEC's top 5 teams right now. Pull the tape of every time a play comes to a stop. You're going to see a DB slide up, make a form tackle, and then you're going to see a safety and a linebacker roll up and end that. So we're not doing that on defense. Only one player is making tackles. I'm telling you, watch the film. Look at any of our games up till Texas Tech. Who knows? Maybe they'll change, but I doubt it. Kind of like not playing aggressive, and they're allowing those extra yards, and it's really killing us. They make a great play, 1-2 yard stop, and then they let them drive the ball for another 3 to 4 yards because no one's helping out tackling, and it's right in front of them, and they're just like letting up, and it's killing me. Okay. UCF is ranked 3rd out of the 16 teams against the pass. Texas Tech is ranked number 3. So it's kind of like Baylor. We were 1-1. They were 1 in passing. We were 1 in stopping the pass. Now, since that game and a couple of Houston stats have kind of gotten a little worse for UCF, we're going against Texas Tech. It's 3 versus 3. They throw the best, 3rd best. We're the 3rd best pass defense. So something's got to give. I'd like to think that Baylor's quarterback is a little better than Texas Tech's quarterback, and he shredded us. So it's probably going to be a little bit of the same. And that was in Texas. On the road, same deal. And Baylor's not near as explosive on both sides of the ball as this Texas Tech team is. So it's going to be brutal. Here we go. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we pull the upset and remain competitive. I really do. I just can't see how UCF moves the ball at all. I really can't. They're not going to be able to run the ball, and they're definitely not going to be able to throw the ball. The defense will put up a fight, but they're going to be tired. Eventually, they're going to get gashed. They're going to get bullied around, and it's going to be a rough game to watch. But what it hasn't been all season, really, honestly. So we're going to go ahead and give an overall prediction. And also, I want to throw this out there. I have a Penny Boone. I think it's a 1 of 5 autograph collegiate football card. Guess the score of the game correctly in the comments, and we will go ahead. I will ship that card to you if you guess the score correctly in the comments. You just got to be the first one to put your correct score in the comments. And if you're right, we'll get that card out to you. Penny Boone, the hyped running back, former UCF running back that never really worked out under Gus Malzahn. We kind of still don't know why. But, so got a cool card to him. We're going to go ahead and give that out. So go ahead and drop that score in the comment section if you want to. And I'm going to go ahead and give my overall prediction. This one's going to be ugly. I'm going to go UCF 6, Texas Tech 45. So we got UCF 6, Texas Tech 45. This is going to be a rough one. Get the paper bags with the little holes out. You might want to plop that on your head if you're sitting at the pub watching this game. It's going to be embarrassing. It's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. But this is what happens when you're in the Big 12 and you're playing against some, schools with big pockets. This is what's going to happen. This is where UCF needs to be. So we need to get some bigger donors. We need to get tapped in with Disney to be competitive. It's a drop in the bucket to them. So we just have to be better. And right now, Scott Frost is saying, we did the most we could with the money we had, but we didn't have depth. So it looks like if Davie may actually play this game, he might start. And if he starts against this defense first game, I don't know if he'll make it to halftime. I really don't. And if he can't go, I don't know if they bring in the walk-on, Brock Hansel, or whatever his name is, or if they're going to put Jacuri in, who's hurt. Now, Taven's hamstring's hurt. He may play, he might not. But either way, I don't know. I'm depressed as a UCF fan. This has been a hard season, but it's reality. And I said UCF would be 9-3. I believed in this roster, but it's a thin roster. Like all those players that I believed in, I still do, but a lot of them got hurt. And without that cohesion, their backups are not that good. And we just didn't have the money. And Scott Frost put this together kind of makeshift last minute. And it's honestly incredible how much he's accomplished with this roster and how close we've been and competitive we've been in most of the games. So there is some positive there. But anyway, charge on, go Knights. We'll be watching this game. And, go ahead and drop your score in the comments. We'll see who gets that Penny Boone auto.